So, on the first day of early access to the Battlefield 5 beta, DICE has dropped a brand new trailer for the game. And I've got to say, this one of all released so far interests me the most. It's not the cinematic gameplay influence trailer that we wanted at the reveal of the game, but it is 5 or 6 minutes of pure information, and it gives us plenty of new details about the game, and it even gives us a hint about what is coming after launch in 2019. Stay tuned to the end of the video for that one, but let's dig right into this. First of all, we get a mention of multiple multiplayer game modes. We know about these already, but it's the footage that comes after that that gives us a better look at some of the unannounced maps for Battlefield 5. Now, later in the video, via the voiceover, it's confirmed that at launch, there will be 8 multiplayer maps, with more added as time goes on as part of the Tides of War live service. 8 multiplayer maps coming at launch for Battlefield 5. This first shot here shows the Frontlines game mode returning from Battlefield 1, but it's being fought on one of the French countryside maps. Now, we know one of the 2 maps will be called Twisted Steel, and is set around the Escaut River. From the Gamescom trailer, this colour palette matches this one here in this shot, so I think it's another look at the ground combat from the Twisted Steel map. This shot right here, before we cut to Grand Operations, this shows a melee animation, I think shows another brand new map. This is likely the second of 2 Norwegian maps coming to the game, which we already know is confirmed due to the Grand Operation happening on Narvik. Narvik is day 1 and day 2, so there has to be a different map for day 3 and day 4 of the operation. This map seems to match this shot here from the Gamescom trailer, a mountain snowy map, and the conquest flag in the melee kill scene is called Cabins. That's not a flag anywhere on Narvik. This is definitely a map that we've not seen so far. Into the breakthrough section of the Grand Operations explanation, we see the yellow fields of France again that we saw in the Gamescom trailer for a very brief moment, but this time in much more detail. This is likely the second French map coming to the game, and the yellow colour comes from the rapeseed plants. The map seems to focus on this small village area in the middle, complete with a large church, but it appears to be surrounded by these massive open fields. Further on into the clip, you can see a dense setup of cottages and houses with the village divided up by different roads and paths, so that should lead to some good infantry fighting. Into the final stand section of the trailer, we get another good look at what really is a second snow map, and if you look to the left there, you can see those cabins that were in the earlier melee clip. The weather here is completely different, bringing in a dark snowstorm, but it highlights the mountainous nature of the map, with lots of rock faces and snow drifts coming into view. Next up in the trailer, we get some more information on the Battle Royale mode coming to the game. DICE has chosen the name FIRESTORM for the mode, which is quite fitting considering the huge ring of fire that sets the playable zone, and it just burns everything in its path. We get no new footage here, but the voiceover confirms that it is 16 teams of 4 that will be battling it out to be the last squad standing. So it appears DICE is sticking to 64 players for the Battle Royale mode, and staying true to their squad player mantra in standard multiplayer. Of course, it has now been stated that DICE is not actually the development team that's working on Battle Royale, or FIRESTORM as we should call it. Another studio is leading development, so it remains to be seen just how much of standard multiplayer and Battle Royale end up sharing. It was also confirmed by the voiceover that the FIRESTORM map will be the largest Battlefield map ever made. That's hardly surprising if you know anything about how Battle Royale works. The next segment showcases gameplay across lots of different maps, but none of them are new up until this point here. We get another good look at the second French countryside map, the one with the yellow fields. I'm just going to call it yellow fields from now on. This flyby shot here shows the roadways and buildings that stand when a match starts, but likely we're going to be able to destroy most of these throughout the round. Another shot here shows some shallow streams that could be used to flank around the outside of the town, giving you cover if you want to flank the enemy. I really do think fortifications are going to be a big part of Battlefield 5 map design, because looking here, there are some big open spaces. It'd be awesome if you could just sort of build some mud piles, maybe even some small structures that could be built in these open areas. I think that's going to be really, really important. This last shot here shows some gameplay of the Allied soldiers running in to storm the town, but just look at that open field in front of them. It's giving me flashbacks of River Somme from Battlefield 1's Apocalypse DLC. I really do hope DICE is going to make use of fortifications here. We're definitely going to need cover in that open field. Next, we get another glimpse here of the Twisted Steel map. You can see the massive bridge at the start of the shot as a Spitfire flies across. And then at the end of the shot, we get a nice open look here at the marshlands below the bridge, where presumably most of the fighting is going to occur. Now, considering this is the map that DICE used in their reveal trailer, which wasn't received very well, it does appear that the colours have been toned down quite significantly. Less bright green, more browns being used here. I think it gives a much more conventional feeling to the map, and overall, I much prefer this look. In this next shot, we get another big overview of the second snow map set in Norway, much more clearly this time. You can see those cabins that we got a first glimpse of earlier in the trailer. Now, from this tabletop view, it's hard to imagine how 64 players are going to coexist on what looks like quite a small map here, but it's also been confirmed by the development team that Battlefield 5 won't be launching with any infantry maps whatsoever, or infantry-only maps, I should say. So the inclusion of aerial gameplay is pretty much a given. No way are you getting a tank up that mountain. You might see some half-tracks up there, but you're not going to see a heavy tank climbing that hill. Moving into the fortification section of the video, we get to see another shot here of yellow fields, this time a first-person view, some proper gameplay of what looks like the main street in the town or the village, showing off some low sandbag walls reinforced with barbed wire. It doesn't look anywhere near as claustrophobic that it needs to be to consider this a urban warfare map, but it does certainly seem like there will be segments of the map that support infantry gameplay better than others. And with all the space around the outside in the fields, that's good for ground vehicles, and we've got the sky above for planes. I think this is going to be a proper combined arms battlefield map. We get a quick look here at the new squad reinforcement. This is a supply drop on the Yellow Fields map. This can be called in by the squad leader for a much smaller amount of squad points, just 7,500 compared to 41,500 for the V1 rocket, and can be open to reveal both medical and ammunition supplies. So if you're stuck in a situation and you can't get yourself out, but you've got enough points to call one of these in, you can call it in, hopefully it drops before you get shot, and then you should be good to go. In this next scene, we get to witness the Crocodile tank on the Devastation map, which is the second Rotterdam location coming to the game, which was shown off quite a lot in the Gamescom trailer, but it's the weapon the soldier is holding here that caught my interest. I'm not sure this is a weapon that we've actually seen before so far in any of the material released for Battlefield 5, and I'm also not 100% sure what weapon it is. I'm sure somebody in the comments section will be able to tell me. If you know what it is, leave a comment and I'll pin yours to the top so other people can see. But from the little bit of research that I've been doing, this could be the Lanchester SMG made in Britain, or it could be the ZK383 SMG. This is a Czechoslovakian weapon first made in 1938, and considering we have another Czech-Slovak weapon in the Scout class, the semi-automatic rifle, it's not a stretch of the imagination to think this might be the ZK383 SMG. Of course, not all the weapons in the beta are final, and there will probably be more once we come closer to launch. This might be a post-launch weapon, this might be a launch weapon. We don't really know at the moment. Moving on, we get a great look here inside the massively damaged cathedral on the Devastation map. We can see plenty of cover here, but much of it is made up of broken building, wood, and different parts of rubble. The actual size of the cathedral looks absolutely massive, but there doesn't appear to be too much vertical gameplay going on, at least not too far above ground level anyway. And of course, let's not forget, the soldier is firing the Tommy gun here with what must be a stick magazine attached, just 20 rounds on the ammo counter before needing to reload. Now, skipping ahead, we see a showcase of the new movement set, falling backwards onto your back and firing forwards, and this time, another section of the Devastation map. You can really see here just how the terrain has been deformed by all of this rubble, and likely, that's going to create quite a few sneaky spots where you can hide from enemies. Now this shot here shows off one of the North African maps coming to the game. Clearly we're fighting on an airfield, but we don't get to see much more than that before we're whisked back off to the Twisted Steel map again, showing grenades being shot out of the sky. The bridge behind in this shot here looks absolutely massive. It's even obscured a little bit by fog and mist, so it could be quite a large map that we're looking at here. In this next shot here, we get an overview of the map called Hamada. This is the site of one of the biggest tank battles of World War II, and you really can see how big of a map it really is, with the player pulling off a long-range kill here with the Lee Enfield. This map looks like it's sectioned into two parts. There's this big ravine running down the middle, and there's a large bridge on the left-hand side there, but part of the bridge looks destroyed, so maybe we can't even use that as a route across the map and across the ravine below. Back to the Yellow Fields map again, and we get a glimpse at some of the close quarters action that we can expect in the town area. Pull-ups over high walls, crouch sliding into buildings and killing players in alleyways. I've got to say, the more I see of this map of Yellow Fields, the more I'm excited at getting stuck into that one. Now, skipping ahead here, the bit in between didn't show or talk about anything new. We get a look at combat on top of the bridge on Twisted Steel. This looks to be sort of an infantry-only section of the map with lots of blockades, fortifications, and objects to hide behind for cover. Now, this could massively split up the combat on the map, especially if it is only infantry that can get up there and fight it out. I'm guessing whichever team holds the bridge with infantry will have a very commanding view across the grounds below, so it could be very advantageous to keep this bridge locked down. Next in the trailer, we get a brief look at some of the war stories coming to Battlefield 5. These are the single-player missions. We know about Nordlys already, that's the Norwegian resistance fighter story, but we do get a good glimpse at Under No Flag. This is a story focusing on a young British criminal. He's sent to North Africa, where he can use his skills for good. Now, what's really interesting is the end of the clip. We get a shot of all of the war stories. We get a prologue, Nordlys, Tirailleur, Under No Flag, and The Last Tiger. Now, The Last Tiger is coming to Battlefield 5 after launch. It's a post-launch war story, and if the name is anything to go by, this will have a big focus on the iconic German tank. And now we're getting into some of the really juicy stuff. At the end of the trailer here, DICE explains a little bit more about the Tides of War. This is their live service for Battlefield 5. How it's going to be a free journey for all Battlefield 5 players, no more premium pass. It's going to encompass all of World War II, adding more maps, weapons, vehicles, theatres of war, and more as time goes on. Now, just after launch, the first chapter of the Tides of War begins, and it's coming under the Fall of Europe, and they're going to deliver new content daily and weekly over the next few months. New gadgets will be added, new combat roles under the classes, more customization, and even new fortifications as well, which is really interesting to hear. But that's not the killer detail. This is our first proper mention of content coming after the launch of Battlefield 5, something everybody was really concerned about. In early 2019, as part of the second chapter of the Fall of Europe, DICE is going to be adding a new location to the game. We're going to Greece. This concept art here at the moment is all we have to go on, but I think it's great to hear directly from DICE and EA some of their plans for content coming post-launch to Battlefield 5. This is exactly what the community needed to hear, because a lot of players were rightly skeptical about what DICE was really going to deliver. Now we have an answer. And that just about covers the new trailer. I'm going to go back and play the beta now, despite all the bugs this morning. DICE are currently turning all the servers off and restarting them to get everyone back in, and hopefully they should have fixed some of the squad issues that were really making the game quite difficult to play. In terms of performance, it's running really well, but there's lots of bugs behind the scenes that mean certain elements of the game just don't work properly at the moment. Hopefully this restart is going to fix those problems. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments section, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications switched on so you don't miss any of my future Battlefield 5 videos. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.